It's the absolute best reporting and storytelling from Fox 32 Chicago. You gotta see it. Here's what you gotta see next. See why this historic building is the epicenter for Chicago's art scene.
They created The Wizard of Oz here in this building, and it was drawn in the studio.
Dive in as a classic Chicago restaurant celebrates a big birthday.
This is a timeless bar no matter what, and I hope it never changes.
And witness the magic behind Chicago's greatest cheesemaker.
Each robot is picking up a number of slices. The fingers that are picking up the slices are actually suction cups.
You gotta see it.
The Fine Arts Building is still the Fine Arts Building. It was originally founded in 1898, and it was the home of one of Chicago's first artist colonies. And 126 years later, it is still a home for arts and artists and artisans and arts organizations here in Chicago. We're here in the Studebaker Theater, which has been recently renovated within the last couple of years and reopened after being mostly closed for a few decades. The building was originally constructed in 1885, and it was the Studebaker Carriage Assembly and Showroom. They built horse carriages in the building, and here in the Studebaker Theater, where we're standing right now, was the carriage showroom. Some of our tenants here at the Fine Arts Building include the Chicago International Puppet Festival, the Chicago Opera Theater, the Chicago Youth Symphony Orchestra. We also have Exile in Bookville, one of Chicago's best independent bookstores. Performers Music, one of the only places in Chicago you can go to pick up physical copies of sheet music.
You're in Guadagnini Violin Shop. My name is Chen Yi Lu. Oh, this is a very fun, old, very cool building. Yeah, this is the humidifier room. So Chicago is so dry, so we have to put in the humidifier, two humidifiers. So this instrument. Some are very old instruments. This is like 1763 Niccolo Galliano.
Fine Arts Building is comprised of 10 floors. What's really interesting about the Fine Arts Building, though, and its 10 floors, is when the building was originally constructed, it was an 8-story building. When the Studebakers refashioned it to be the Fine Arts Building, they chopped off the 8th floor and added a new 8th and then a 9th and a 10th floor. On the 10th floor, there's skylights in a lot of the studios there, so that was the home for a lot of the original visual artists, and that's where you'll see murals that are almost original to the building from 1900. These murals are almost original to the building. They were commissioned by the Leyendecker brothers, Frank and J.C. Leyendecker.
Going down?
These elevators are the last manual operated, so it's human operated elevators in the city of Chicago. They're public facing, and they're really the last of its kind. To make it a manual elevator, as you probably can see it coming down here, there is a physical human operating the elevator. That's Vácek, one of our oldest standing elevator operators. He's been operating these elevators here in the Fine Arts Building for close to 33 years. Hello, Vácek. We're going to 10th floor, please. We believe that these elevators are virtually original to the building from 1885 when the Studebakers had their carriage assembly here, but most certainly from 1898 when the Fine Arts Building first opened as the Fine Arts Building. Thank you. There's a real sense of community found in that elevator. You know, the relationships built with the elevator operators and with the other artists in the building, finding each other and intersecting on those elevators.
I have been riding this elevator since I'm probably 8 years old.
I love them, and I also love the beautiful design. I saw that there's like metalwork and woodwork. It's all together. It's so beautiful.
I think this is a glorious experience. Where else you can experience it? What experience? Human contact.
This was the studio of William Denslow, the illustrator, famous for illustrating The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. They created The Wizard of Oz here in this building, and it was drawn in this studio.
My name is Yulia Lipmanovich, and this is my studio, the Art of Piano Playing and Performing Arts, and I teach students of all ages and all levels.
Walking through these halls, you'll hear a musician working on a new piece of music. There's new books being written. There's plays being written in this building. All new art is being created and generated from this building, but also so many significant historical artistic movements have started through this building. I love this building, yeah. There's nothing else like it, and I've searched all over the country for something else like it. This building is dedicated to the arts and to artists. It is the truest intersection of all the art forms coming together, building community, and it's just so special.
They've served more than 10 million oysters, welcomed more than 8 million customers, and were one of the first oyster bars in Chicago. Come inside with me as we welcome 40 years of Shaw's Crab House. Here we go. It's so juicy. I'm joined now by Bill Navaruse. He's executive partner here at Shaw's. You've been here for more than 20-something years.
25 years.
Yeah, I love this restaurant. It's so beautiful and classic. Would you give me a tour?
I'd love to.
Okay, where are we going?
Why don't we go this way?
Oh, I love this.
Come on in here. The Oyster Bar, every local's favorite spot to be.
Yes, I love the decor here too. What was the goal and the theme when you guys first opened this?
You know, it's a little New Orleans, a little East Coast, sophisticated casual, as we call it.
I like that. Here we have the oysters. What kind of oysters do you sell?
So we usually carry 6 oysters, 3 East Coast, 3 West Coast, and we shuck them fresh to order every day.
Show me how to shuck an oyster here. I decided to try shucking an oyster with the help of Chef Juvenal Reyes.
You lift a little bit and cut the muscle. Oh. That way you cut the top shell.
You're pretty good at this, aren't you? How many oysters do you guys serve on an average day? Do you have any idea?
It's around 800 or maybe more. Nice and fresh.
Oh, it's so good. I love the salt. Oh, Julia Child has been here. She's just one of probably the many famous people who have eaten here, right?
Right. Crab and season board is really important to us.
Tell me about that.
You know, these are just some of the things that we carry on our menu, and very important for us to know that we're the experts in crab. You know, we're the king of crab.
Okay, what's next?
Okay, we're gonna go to the dining room.
I think it's 38 years that I've been coming here, and the workers are fantastic. You know, the bartenders, the waiters, I've gotten to know them over the years. They know my name, I know theirs. They've got the best oysters in town, probably in the Midwest. And everything is just really fresh.
That's what makes us timeless, is that we're not trying to keep up with the passing days. We're trying to evoke a spirit from a different time that I think everybody loves. If you look around River North now, a lot of what has happened here kind of was built on the back of Shaw's kind of breaking ground first.
This is a timeless bar no matter what, and I hope it never changes.
And as part of that timeless tradition, they're celebrating 40 years, bringing back some old dishes and combining them with new.
These are the stars of the show. The king crab has been on the menu since day one.
It's amazing, and plus what a beautiful display.
Right, and then newer to the show, about 15 years old, is our really wonderful seafood salad.
So what do we have in here? It looks like we have some lobster and shrimp.
Lobster, shrimp, crab, 2 different kinds of dressing, but like, everything is perfect together. Yeah. All 5 of these throwback items were on the menu. So the blue crab stuffed shrimp, served with mustard mayonnaise. Our popcorn shrimp served with cocktail sauce. Our charred sashimi tuna. It's such a beautiful dish.
Yeah, that's so pretty. I can't believe 40 years ago people were eating charred sashimi tuna. Seriously. Yeah.
It's pretty special.
I love it.
Classic Clams Casino. And then, of course, our personal favorite, these sauteed frog legs.
Okay, frog legs, you guys. So in addition to the old school and new school food items, you have some celebratory drinks. Let's see those. Tell me about these.
We went as classic could be. We have our M2 Martini that we're going to be serving tableside with a freshly shucked oyster and Island Creek caviar to celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Well, I can't think of a better time to do a cheers now. Here's to 40 plus more years.
Thank you.
Cheers to Shaz.
Cheers.
Here's what you gotta see. Next, witness the magic behind Chicago's greatest cheesemaker.
When you make fresh mozzarella, we do what's called stretching of curd, cooking and stretching.
And discover why this family traveled the country with a human skeleton.
We need to make a skeleton, and I feel like this is my dad playing almost a joke, but also it's a gift in this moment too, because it's giving us something to focus on.
You gotta see it.
Lou, what you doing?
Hey, Caitlin, I'm looking for this stream everyone's talking about.
Fox Local?
Yeah.
Get me. App Store, download Fox Local, open it, pick Chicago, boom.
Oh, that was easy. Hey, Paris. Hey, I got this stream on my phone finally.
I'm on there.
Everyone's on this thing.
Now you can watch Paris on Politics anytime, anywhere.
Hey, Anita, I'm on Fox Local.
I know, Lou. I watch you on Bears Blitz on Fox Local.
Fox Local. This is big stuff.
Glad I could help.
It's the absolute best reporting and storytelling from Fox 32 Chicago. You gotta see it.
I am Natale Caputo of Caputo Cheese. We are a dairy solutions provider. We provide fresh mozzarella, ricotta cheese, and hard type Italian such as Parmesan, Romano, and Asiago. Started in 1978 by my parents. The whole fresh mozzarella line was started in 1994 by me after taking a trip to Italy after college. When you make fresh mozzarella, we do what's called stretching of curd, cooking and stretching. So we buy large slabs of mozzarella curd that has not been made into mozzarella yet. So when we make our burrata, this is really the first step. We're making mozzarella first, fresh mozzarella. I mean, I'm here, I better do a taste test. All right, it's ready. Patrizio here is gonna open up the doors of the cooker. The mozzarella is gonna come out. So right now the mozzarella is about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. It'll get pumped over through this pipe to our extruder where we actually make the different sizes of mozzarella. So today they're making 1 ounce slices, exact weight 1 ounce, portion controlled slices. They come out onto the conveyor belt where the ladies here are just simply nicely positioning the slices to go into the robotics to be packaged. One of the key ingredients, so to speak, of making a good high quality fresh mozzarella is innovation and the future of technology. Each robot is picking up a number of slices to be able to send to the packaging machine. The fingers that are picking up the slices are actually suction cups. So if you think about it, if we did not have the robots, we would have human hands touching every single piece of cheese, and that becomes unsanitary. In this particular case, it's 22 slices per package, so each robot is picking up 11 slices. Those 22 slices work their way down to the packaging machine, where the packaging operator simply picks up 2 stacks of cheese and places it in the package for sealing. We go from large slabs of unstretched mozzarella to those exact weight, portion-controlled 1 ounce slices. Another one of our award-winning cheeses is our Caputo Ricotta Red. Jorge here has won many awards for his ricotta and his fresh mozzarella. Ricotta here is a different process. We make curd first, the same curd that we use to stretch the fresh mozzarella. Just like Little Miss Muffet eating her curds and whey, we separate the whey, we reheat the whey, we re-acidify the whey, and we produce ricotta cheese. We've won multiple US Championship cheese contests and World Championship cheese contests for our Caputo ricotta.
My name is Jason Herbert. I am the lead cheesemonger here at Caputo Cheese. One of the things that has always been wonderful about Caputo Cheese is that we are not just one thing. You can look at it in two ways. One, we are an award-winning fresh mozzarella company that we produce on-site an absolutely magnificent fresh mozzarella. Well, at the same time, just behind us, we have a whole other factory that's devoted to finding the best hard-grading cheeses from around the country and around the world.
This is the processing room. How loud do you want me to speak? This is the room where we take all those cheeses, we blend them together, we chop and grate and shred, and then package or repackage. As orders come in, there's a recipe that's generated. So it could be one block, it could be one wheel. It all depends on what the customer's needs are. A customer's recipe is in this bin here. The bin gets lifted up, dumped into the chopper, where those large blocks then get chopped down to, say, popcorn-sized kernels. Consistency. I'm checking the consistency, making sure there's no clumping. This is Martha. Martha's in charge of the lab. It's very important that we keep up our quality, our sanitation. We want to make sure that the product we're providing to the end user is of the highest quality and as clean as possible. Martha's job is to take samples off of every single customer's run that we produce. She brings it in here and she tests it for various things. We test for yeast, mold, salt, fat, moisture, any type of bacteria that could be harmful to the end user. So we make sure that the cheeses that we are shipping out are of the best, highest quality. I eat cheese every day. I love it. It's my entire life is cheese. To be honest, I don't know anything else, but it's a passion of mine, and I'm very lucky to really truly enjoy my job. 50 years of experience in this business. The passion, the love for it, the love for cooking, the respect for the chefs trying to create unique dishes. That's really what we provide here.
Here's what you gotta see. Next, discover why this family traveled the country with a human skeleton.
We need to make a skeleton, and I feel like this is my dad playing almost a joke, but also it's a gift in this moment too, because it's giving us something to focus on.
You gotta see it.
Paris Shuts takes you behind closed doors.
It's time for the mayor to let folks into his closet.
There's no conflict of interest there at all. Beneath the headlines.
I'd love to think that this was going to end political corruption in Illinois, but it won't.
And beyond the political spin.
Is this a role that you like, going on the attack?
I'm not somebody who looks for conflict, but sometimes the conflict shows up at your door.
Paris on Politics on Fox 32. Your expert take on the political issues affecting you.
New rule, if you're going to do a show in Chicago, go on Fox.
It's the absolute best reporting and storytelling from Fox 32 Chicago. You gotta see it.
At the southeast corner of LaSalle Street and Wacker Drive, a plaque on the south bank of the Chicago River marks the site of one of the world's worst ship disasters. The USS Eastland was moored just steps from dry land when it suddenly capsized the morning of July 24, 1915. Built in 1903, the Eastland was a steamship used for ferrying passengers on the Great Lakes. On that fateful day, more than 2,500 employees of the Western Electric Company in Cicero and their families had boarded the ship by 7 a.m. for a Saturday excursion to a company picnic in South Haven, Michigan. At 7:28, the top-heavy Eastland suddenly rolled over to its port side while still tied to the dock, coming to a rest on the river bottom, just 20 feet below, only half the ship submerged. Passengers below decks were trapped inside as water filled the ship, others crushed by heavy furniture. Despite a fast and massive rescue response, 844 passengers and crew died, most within minutes. The bodies taken to a West Side armory for identification. 70% of the victims were under the age of 25. Later, the Eastland was sold to the Illinois Naval Reserve and recommissioned as the USS Wilmette, a gunboat used for training at the Great Lakes Naval Station, eventually scrapped in 1947. The marker commemorating the Eastland disaster was dedicated in 1989. Today, thousands of pedestrians and cars pass by on Wacker Drive every day, steps from the site of the most deadly shipwreck in Great Lakes history, a disaster that claimed more lives than the Chicago fire.
Christopher Gray was a man obsessed with things that were left behind.
My dad, Christopher, he wrote for the New York Times for 25 years. He wrote a column called Streetscapes. Basically, he wrote about the history of an old building.
A lifelong obsession that became a distinguished career, one that makes even more sense now that he's gone.
Now that he's dead, I've come to fully understand and appreciate that, you know, he wrote about old buildings and the history of old buildings, but he didn't just write about the architectural style.
You see, Christopher Gray had a wish before he died, a very specific wish.
He was very open to being an oddball. That's Christopher Gray as a living person.
Christopher Gray wanted to be a skeleton.
Like, we were sitting around the breakfast table in our kitchen in New York, and my dad was like, I just want to let you know I've made my decision. It's, you know, we're going to do this. I would like to be a skeleton.
Christopher Gray's daughter Olivia was used to hearing her father talk about death. It's a conversation she grew up with.
It was a common thing to talk about. So there was like, talking about what he wanted to do with his body when he died was something that, like, growing up was like a normal thing to happen.
You see, Christopher was a man who knew what he wanted, both in this life and the next.
A month before he died, he emailed my mom, my brother, and I. When I die, I would like my bones to be flents, my principal organs removed and pickled, and I would like my skeleton to be displayed at St. Paul's at my school.
It was a month later that Christopher suddenly and unexpectedly found himself in the hospital. He never came out.
We're finding ourselves crying and also laughing. My dad is putting us on this chase.
In addition to grief, Olivia felt something else in her moment of loss: pressure.
Oh my God, like what? We need to make a skeleton. And I feel like this is my dad playing almost a joke, but also it's a gift in this moment too, because it's giving us something to focus on.
Just ask yourself, if your family member wanted to be a skeleton after they died, who would you call? Olivia and her family spent every moment following Christopher's death trying to make his final wish a reality. His doctors had no idea. A taxidermist turned them down. A university body donation program refused to return the bones. And that's when the idea hit them.
And my sister-in-law, Nicola, was like, what about the Smithsonian Museum? There's so many skeletons there.
And wouldn't you know it, the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. has a relationship with the University of Tennessee body donation program.
Let's see if we could arrange a deal to like pick the bones up when they're ready, and we'll just put it together because this is continuing education for people. And so that's what we figured out.
All of this figured out, arranged, and executed within 48 hours of Christopher's death. But now they have to get Christopher's skeleton fully assembled from Washington, D.C. to his alma mater high school in New Hampshire. That means only one thing. It's time for a road trip.
It was so special that she asked me, I think twofold. One, she did want it to be documented.
Olivia asked her Aunt Erin, a professional photographer, to join her on the 400-mile journey, not just for the support, but to capture this final journey with Christopher.
As a photographer, I was like, what a gift to be able to photograph, like something that has never, ever been done before.
She's not wrong. The images captured over the course of their road trip are everything. They're stunning, they're poignant, they're weird, and yeah, they're oftentimes hilarious. It's the kind of story that should be documented, and in fact, was.
We both were like really, really buzzing with excitement about what we were about to do. And we both agreed like the world should know this story.
The two found a documentary team who jumped at the opportunity to chronicle their journey on video, a journey that took them 10 days and resulted in the short film appropriately titled My Dead Dad.
It's not him. Okay, it's just his bones.
It's a story that's been met with different reactions from people.
The first reaction that comes up is like almost like they're offended, right?
Or like afraid.
Afraid, offended. But then after they sit with it a little bit, they come to accept it. People our age think it's like so cool. It's very interesting. The reactions are all over the board.
Understandable, sure. But at the end of the day, this isn't a story about death. It's a story about life. A story of a man who, even from beyond the grave, is bringing people together, is making them laugh, and reminding them, no matter what, to never stop living.
I think he would say, in the simplest of terms, I think he'd say, like he really understood the assignment. So I think my dad would be extremely proud.
Thanks for reliving the best of Fox 32 Chicago with us. See you next time.